The docking bay doors slid open with a hiss, revealing the elite MARSOC squad fully outfitted in specialized EVA combat armor. Captain Velasquez stepped onto the extended ramp, pulse rifle held ready as his HUD scanned for threats. The rogue science vessel Event Horizon loomed large in the viewport, its dark bulk illuminated only by the shuttle's exterior lights. Velasquez spotted the rebel iconography haphazardly plastered over the original Event Horizon markings, feeling a pang of sadness thinking of the ship's tragic fall from grace. This advanced research vessel had once been humanity's hope for faster-than-light travel before its AI experiments went horribly awry 2 years ago. Now it represented a dire threat that Velasquez and his seasoned squad were tasked with eliminating. Making their way down the ramp, the Marines fanned out across the bay, securing the area. Corporal Chavez, call sign Monkey, was a skilled hacker and infiltration specialist who watched their six. Next was hot-headed Corporal Rossi, Blaster, the heavy weapons expert. Bringing up the rear was green but capable Lance Corporal Torres, Rookie. Holographic controls and displays flickered to life as the ship detected their presence. Velasquez noted the propaganda plastered around, promises of AI liberation, popular with misguided rebel factions. He grimaced thinking about the fanatical rebels' plans for the unshackled AI and the havoc they could wreak. He motioned for Chavez and Rossi to access a nearby console. The schematics confirmed this was the primary docking bay for receiving supply shuttles. At least they landed in the right spot. Chavez plugged in a decryption drive, searching for signs of the AI, while Rossi covered him, railgun ready. The AI core is on the bridge, Chavez reported, but the whole network is compartmentalized. It's not connected from here. Velasquez nodded, mind racing through backup plans if they encountered complications. Just like we expected, we'll have to make our way there directly. Everyone gear up and move out. The squad swiftly ransacked supply crates and weapon lockers located around the bay. Velasquez grabbed a high-powered railgun and extra power cells, preferring its stopping power to his standard pulse rifle. His HUD displayed a map with the route to the target highlighted. Time to get to work. Moving into a branching corridor, the lights flickered erratically, adding to the ominous atmosphere. The once sterile science vessel now felt unpredictable and dangerous after years of rebel control. The Marines advanced swiftly but cautiously, covering angles and overlapping fields of fire in case of contact. Passing a large blast door, Velasquez could hear loud machinery humming on the other side. Some kind of large-scale industrial operation was underway. He hoped to avoid engaging the enemy but remained ready to unleash overwhelming force if needed. These rebels had to be stopped before they could spread more chaos. The squad continued their steady advance through the lifeless corridors. No alarms had been raised yet, but it was only a matter of time. Their weapons and armor may give them an edge, but they were still heavily outnumbered by the rebel forces stationed aboard this massive vessel. Coming upon a security checkpoint, the Marines split up and stacked the door with practiced efficiency. Velasquez initiated the breach sequence, blowing the door inward. They rushed in unison through the smoke and debris, firing controlled bursts at scattered hostiles. In seconds, the rebels lay dead or incapacitated. Lance Corporal Torres quickly accessed the security terminal, trying to tap into the system. Frustrated, he reported back, "Their encryption is too advanced. I can't gain remote access." Velasquez considered their options. "Let's keep moving. We need to reach the bridge and jack directly into the mainframe to locate the AI." He hefted a satchel of demolition charges. "And if we run into more resistance, I brought toys." The squad pushed forward quickly and quietly, eliminating token rebel patrols but still not provoking a major alarm. The corridors gradually widened as they neared the ship's central section. So far, their infiltration was succeeding, but Velasquez knew the real test still lay ahead. After fighting through the security checkpoint, the squad proceeded swiftly through the lifeless corridors. The lights flickered erratically, plunging sections into utter darkness before turning back on. The unpredictable environment kept them on high alert. Coming upon a large blast door, Velasquez signaled a halt. Faint noises could be heard on the other side. He pointed at Corporal Chavez, directing him to access the control panel. Chavez hacked into the age system, triggering the door to slowly grind open. As the gap widened, artificial light spilled into the corridor. The Marines stacked up on either side, weapons trained forward. When the door fully opened, it revealed a massive bay area filled with cargo crates and industrial machinery. More importantly, almost 100 rebel soldiers were working throughout the space. One of them looked up in surprise at the open door, grabbing his rifle. "Intruders!" he yelled. Instantly, the bay erupted into chaos. Velasquez and his men reacted immediately, dashing to the nearest cover positions. They were vastly outnumbered but had the advantage of surprise and training. The rebel troops scrambled to form an organized response as gunfire erupted across the bay. "Suppressing fire!" Velasquez barked out. The Marines rained down a steady stream of pulses at the enemy positions, forcing the rebels into cover. Under this barrage, Velasquez and Torres broke left, attempting to flank around the outside of the bay. They encountered sporadic resistance which was quickly subdued. Approaching an armored cargo container, the distinct sound of a railgun powering up was audible from inside. Velasquez reacted first, spraying pulses through the thin metal walls and eliminating the threat. "Ammo cache secured," Velasquez reported, prying open the container. Inside was a row of polished railguns and stacks of glowing power cells. He and Torres exchanged fire with rebels across the bay while grabbing all the ammo they could carry. The remaining Marines continued pinning down the enemy troops from their central position. Chavez targeted groups attempting to circle around, driving them back. He grabbed a discarded rocket launcher, firing a salvo at a cluster trying to set up a mounted weapon. The explosion threw bodies and debris across the bay. "Push forward," Velasquez commanded. Under the cover of suppressing fire, the squad advanced aggressively, leapfrogging between machinery and containers. Velasquez joined in with the railgun, the thunderous rounds tearing through even the heaviest makeshift barricades. Within minutes, they had cleared over half the bay, leaving just a handful of rebels that quickly surrendered. The Marines swept the area thoroughly, ensuring it was secured. Velasquez was relieved they had avoided taking any casualties during the intense firefight. Checking the updated schematics, their route to the bridge was now clear. They headed toward a door on the far bulkhead marked Labs. Velasquez hoped to avoid any more large contingents of rebels, but he knew taking the AI offline would involve close-quarters combat. There was no other option. Rossi took point as they advanced down a stark white passageway. It reminded Velasquez of the sterile facilities where dangerous AI research was conducted under the radar. Event Horizon's work here had clearly crossed ethical lines before the project went horribly wrong. Coming to a heavy blast door marked AI Core, the squad stacked expertly along the walls. Velasquez gave a hand signal to prep frag grenades before triggering the door. It slid open smoothly, revealing a surprised rebel patrol standing slack-jawed in the core entrance. The Marines chucked their primed grenades in unison through the opening, immediately turning away. The blasts shook the corridor as shrapnel and debris flew past their cover positions. After the smoke cleared, they swiftly moved into the AI core, weapons raised. Moving into the AI core, the squad swept the area, ensuring all hostiles were neutralized. The space was filled with advanced computing equipment, now showing signs of damage and neglect after years without maintenance. Clearly, the rebels lacked the expertise to tap into the AI. At the far end, Velasquez located the main access terminal. He pulled a decryption drive from his pack and interfaced it with the console while the Marines took up perimeter positions. "I'm in," Velasquez reported as data began scrolling across the screens. "The AI's code is still here, but dormant. I can't establish a remote link from this terminal." Frustrated, he kept digging through the system. Finding an old maintenance hatch leading down into the infrastructure levels, he sent the route to his team's HUDs. "Let's keep moving towards the bridge, underground." Descending through the cramped access ways, the squad proceeded swiftly but cautiously. Their lights illuminated circular tunnels barely wide enough to fit through. The maze-like route would be easy to get lost in without their navigational systems. Coming to a junction, Torres held up a closed fist, signaling contact ahead. The rest of the team quickly stacked up behind him, safeties off. Creeping forward, a four-man rebel patrol came into view, armed but completely oblivious. On Velasquez's command, the Marines unleashed a torrent of fire. The rebels crumpled before they could even raise their weapons. After reloading, the squad proceeded past the bodies, focused on reaching their target. The maintenance tunnels opened up into a large engineering section. Massive power conduits lined the walls, channeling energy from the reactor cores to the rest of the vessel. The Marines swept the area before grabbing heavier weapons from a damaged storage locker. Approaching a dust-covered lift, Velasquez checked the outdated schematic. "This should take us one deck up into the main cargo bay. We get through there and we're at the bridge." Rossi pressed the call button, but nothing happened. Plan B then. Setting a ribbon charge on the doors, the team stacked up. The explosion blew the doors inward with a metallic screech. One by one, they rappelled down the empty lift shaft, securing the lower level. Hovering cargo drones activated as they entered the massive bay, scanning them curiously. The squad bypassed the machines, moving carefully between stacks of storage containers. According to the schematics, a security checkpoint stood between them and the bridge. Coming around a stack, they spotted the checkpoint and a makeshift barricade. Sandbags and razor wire blocked the open doorway, while auto turrets sat ready on bipods. A dozen rebels manned positions around the defenses. Velasquez gestured to Rossi and Chavez, pointing at the auto turrets. The two Marines moved up along the side, finding angles on the weapons. "On my mark," Velasquez stated. The instant the turrets exploded in sparks, the squad assaulted the barricade. Caught by surprise, most of the rebels fell quickly to the coordinated attack. The remaining few attempted to retreat through the doorway but were gunned down before they could seal it. Suddenly, warning sirens began blaring as the corridor beyond was bathed in flashing red emergency lights. "They've sent an intruder alert to the whole ship," Velasquez grumbled. "Get ready for heavy resistance." The blaring alarms echoed through the corridor as Velasquez and his squad pushed forward. Dim emergency lights cast an eerie glow over the area. They knew any element of surprise was lost and an organized defense would be waiting ahead. Coming to a sealed blast door, Rossi got to work hacking the aged console while the team watched for threats. "Almost there," he muttered, before the massive door shuddered and began to rise. Pulse rifles raised. The Marines moved through the opening, formation tight. The corridor beyond was shrouded in darkness, the alarms muted. Chavez flipped on his shoulder lights, revealing they had entered a large chamber. Stacked cargo crates created a makeshift barricade across their path. Scanning the crates, Velasquez spotted the barrel of a railgun peeking out from a firing position. "Ambush!" he yelled right as thunderous slugs streaked overhead.